everybody, Steve List here, aka Ask Mr. List, and I want to talk about an introduction to a three-part video that I've condensed into one about tomato selection. So if you listen, I'm at Green Thumb, I'm at Sylmar Agriculture Learning Center, and then I go over to Grows, which is a wholesale nursery for tomatoes and vegetables and cyclamen. So enjoy, and if you like it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ask Mr. List. Have a good time. Hi everybody, Steve List here, and I'm here at Green Thumb, Canoga Park. Part 2 of our Tomato Time 2021. So I wanted to go through selection of tomato, what to get, why to get it, and of course get it at Green Thumb. Well, we've got over here, and you can't quite see, but these are your hybrid tomatoes. What's a hybrid? Well, it's a cross-pollinated tomato to get a specific type. So over here we have Celebrity, Early Girl, Champion, Big Boy, that's your hamburger tomatoes. Better Boy, Yellow Pear, Roma, that's your spaghetti tomatoes. Celebrity, Beef Master, that's the big one. Sun Gold, one of my favorites. Sun Gold Cherry, another one of my favorites. Sweet Cherry 100, that's a good one. So over here is your hybrids, and we're gonna move over and talk a little bit about the heirlooms. So heirloom tomatoes pretty much are when you get a seed to tomato and it's 7+ years. How many different tomatoes do you ask me? Over 15,000. Two things you should take into consideration. A determinate tomato is your bush tomato, does not need any trellis to grow. It'll take a smaller container. Most of your tomatoes will ripen at the same time. And then you have an indeterminate tomato, which is probably the most popular. You're gonna have most of your varieties. You're gonna need a cage and a large container. So if you're looking for good tomatoes, Green Thumb's the place to go. There's a lot of beautiful heirlooms, hybrids, and selection. But I'll tell you right now, you better get them fast. This year, vegetables are gonna sell really quick. Everybody wants to plant gardens. So our next step and stop, we're gonna go back to Sylmar Agriculture. We're gonna talk a little bit more about selection and planting. And then on Friday, I'm gonna head over to the wholesale grower, Grows, and we're gonna talk a little bit with John Ridgway on tomatoes and his favorites. See you soon. Hey everybody, Steve List here, and I'm back here at Sylmar Agriculture Learning Center to do part 2 tomatoes, part B, if that makes any sense. I was at Green Thumb the other day talking about tomato varieties, what to plant, why to plant, where to plant, all those things. We're going to continue with that. So we're inside my greenhouse, and as you can see, we're pumping out tomatoes like crazy. This is round 3 that we've grown. And you can see down here with the tomato patio, this is a determinate, which is the bush variety. Most of the others are an indeterminate, which requires a lot of space. Let's take a look at a few of these varieties, and we're going to discuss what we're going to plant. I have the Japanese black truffle. We have the big beef. We have the black creme, solar flare, big beef, big boy, Cherokee green and Cherokee purple, sun gold cherry. Oh, by the way, I got some jalapenos in the back there. Anyhow, we're going to go ahead and, Early Girl is coming up. That's always a great one. Sugar Rush is one of my new ones. So some of these varieties we will be planting, and we're going to discuss that as we walk back out. Whoa! And I'm going to get a comfortable seat here. As you can see, I do have about a half a dozen 2-gallon tomatoes that we've been growing up. The reason I'm taking them out is I'm going to harden them off or cool them off, or acclimate them, get them used to the cooler weather. We'll be putting them into the greenhouse next door, and they'll sit over the weekend, and then on Monday we're gonna be planting. So I'd like to go ahead and get a little more comfortable, and I wanna talk to you just a little bit about some of the varieties that we planted last year and what I'd like to plant this year. If you looked on my Facebook and Instagram, I had 2 sheets, 5-star, 4-star. Definitely plant these. These are okay, they'll be good too, but I definitely like these. These were the winners from the 55 varieties that we planted last year. So going through the ones I definitely am gonna plant this year, I'm gonna plant all the Japanese hybrids, which is the Aiko, the Mamatoro Gold, the Mamatoro Red, the Reike, and I believe the Japanese black truffle. Those are all going in for sure. Year after year, I really like those. Not only because it's a great plant, a great tomato, great tasting tomato, but very prolific, gives you a lot of produce. That's the ones I want. I want to feed the world, huh? So here's some of them I'm going to plant. Carbon, which is an heirloom. Early Girl, a hybrid. Green Zebra, an heirloom. Lemon Boy, a hybrid. Already talked about the Japanese hybrids. Napa Chardonnay, heirloom. Spoon, which is the little teeny tiny one of the most flavorful tomatoes I've ever had. We're going to plant that again. Sun Gold Cherry, which is a hybrid. I'm going to plant the Black Crim, Big Boy, Big Beef, Solar Flare, Japanese Black Truffle, Sugar Rush, Cherokee Green, and Cherokee Purple. So far, that's what we're going to do. Now I'm going to head over to Grows Nursery this afternoon, and we're going to talk to John Ridgway. We're going to ask him his favorites. So we're going to add a few more of those tomatoes too and add to this video. So we'll see you a little bit later. Hey everybody, Steve List here, and I'm at Grows Nursery with my buddy John Ridgway, and this is part 3 of our selecting your tomato variety. And John has some incredible varieties of determinate, indeterminate, heirlooms, hybrid tomatoes. And if you're interested in purchasing from John, you got to go to Green Thumb Nursery or Anawalt Lumber. Both of them have a great selection of Grows. This is a wholesale facility, and obviously they sell to landscape contractors and your retail nurseries. So if you're interested, those are the nurseries to check it out. Just look for the Grow label. I really like them. I think it's very high quality, plus a lot of good varieties. But I came here to pick up a few things, but also to talk to John and see what his favorite varieties are. John, what do you like?
Aiko, the Japanese tomato, is probably my #1 favorite. And then Momotaro. Momotaro is actually the first tomato I ever ate that turned me on to tomatoes once again. It's not acidic, but it's got a really good balanced flavor, good production.
So all the Japanese hybrids, and again, I got that from our mutual friend, the late great Steve Godo, who taught me as much as he possibly could. Hopefully I'll learn as much as that gentleman, but he's always in our memories, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Jim, this is Jim Schoper. Jim, what's your favorite tomatoes?
I like the Romas. I like paste tomatoes. Patio tomatoes are great, but I do a lot of canning, so I'm into paste tomatoes. As far as cherry tomatoes, Sun Gold is my favorite cherry tomato. Very prolific, sweet. Oh, it's sweet. And John's already named my 2 Japanese favorites, so I won't repeat that. But yeah, this is a great place.
We're picking up some goodies over here. Come on, Stan. Let me show you what we're getting today. Just to add to our arsenal, we had spoken earlier about all the varieties that we grew last year, what we're going to grow this year, what we have at school. But what we're picking up today is we got the Cherokee Carbon. I'm adding that to the Cherokee Green and the Cherokee Purple. We have Brad's Atomic. We have a Mirasol. Lemon Boy, that's for Jim. We already got one of those over there. Remember, Lemon Boy was one of my top 5s from last year. Virginia Sweets, of course, John's favorite, the Aika. And I got the Chica Cherry. These are the Japanese hybrids. What else do we have here? This is just like a candy store here. Virginia Sweets. I have an Amish Paste. Blood Moon. 4th of July, that's an old standby that I haven't tried for a while. Grandfather Ashlock, I'm doing that because I'm a grandfather. And Bloody Butcher, that sounds like a horror movie, should be fun. And what do we got? Brandywine, I got to do a Brandywine. We did not do any Brandywines last year. Russian Queen.
Super productive.
Super productive. We want productive plants. We try to grow our plants to get as much food as we possibly can out of Candy Sweet Icicle. Here's Opalka. I can't even pronounce this stuff. Gladiator, which should be a big one.
Big paste.
Good. I like the big ones.
8-ounce paste.
Again, here's our Momotaro Gold. We do have the Momotaro Red at school already. and Haley's Purple Comet. And then what do I have here? That's the Virginia Sweet. So that's pretty much, what else do we got? Oh, we got Omar's Lebanese. We have a Napa Chardonnay. That actually tasted a little, is a smaller tomato, tasted a little bit like wine. Not that I would know that. Well, I used to, but yeah. And then Goose Creek. So we do have a great variety. We're gonna try to plant as many of these as possible. I think 25 is our limit this year, but thanks to John, good friend over here, to help me with advice on how to do things. And every year I learn a little bit more. And Jim, of course, he just tags along, but he has some great advice with his garden. So I hope to see everybody soon. That is part 3. Actually, we'll call it part C of part 2 of Tomato Time 2021. Thanks.